minutes?
So move.
And who seconded? Tom? Motion on the floor is second to approve the minutes for December. Any discussion? I'll have a roll call vote. John Matthews?
Yes.
Terry Bukowski?
Yes.
Were you here?
Yeah.
He was here. Okay. For some reason I thought he wasn't. Mark Denny?
Yes.
Alex Tomorrow?
Staying.
You weren't here. That's right. Somebody wasn't. Will Smith?
Here. Yes.
Rocky Hempel?
Yes.
Tom Dials?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Yes. Jeff Speen?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 8-1 abstain. All right, Secretary's report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. This evening we have one item on the consent agenda, so when you approve the agenda, you will be approving that plat. We have 5 cases on the regular agenda. Our next regular meeting is February 10th. I gave you all some information in front of your computers this evening before you all got here. That's correspondence we've received on 3 of the rezoning requests that came in after the deadline for being able to get it in the packet. So you all should have all of that. That's all I have.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion on the agenda? One item, one plat on the consent agenda, and everything else we're hearing tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay,
Second.
and John, you seconded. Motion on the floor, approve the agenda. Any discussion? Roll call vote. John Matthews?
Yes.
Terry Bukowski?
Yes.
Mark Danny?
Yes.
Alex Tomorrow?
Yes.
Will Smith?
Yes.
Rocky Hempel?
Yes.
Tom Dials?
Yes.
Jeff Speen?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 9-0. Any declarations, anyone? Okay, we'll move on. For case number DEV 20-128, consideration of application for a special use permit for renewal of Deer Ridge Event Center, as well as adding an additional event center building located on a tract of land in the northeast 1/4 of Section 28, Township 10 South, Range 21 East, 6 p.m. in Leavenworth County, Kansas. Request submitted by Mark Peterson, also known as 21325 Donahue Road. This is a public hearing. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person. Staff report.
Good evening, Commissioners. Before us, we have case number DEV 20-128. This is a special use permit that was first approved in 2016. They are seeking to have their special use permit renewed for the original event center as well as event center they're planning on building. In 2019, the special use permit's conditions were officially reviewed due to a number of complaints concerning the dust created by traffic related to the event center. To address this issue, the applicant decided to chip and seal Donahue Road up to their eastern entrance of the parcel, so no further issues would occur, and we haven't received a complaint since that has happened. The new event center will allow additional capacity for holding events. They currently hold events such as weddings, family reunions, graduation parties, etc. The applicant is currently approved to hold 30 events and 40 meetings per year with a maximum of 125 vehicles for events and 30 vehicles for meetings. These limitations will apply to the second event center respectively, meaning an additional total number of vehicles for that event center. Given that Donahue Road there is unpaved, can you guys see where my mouse is on your screen? Can you? Yeah. Okay. Donahue Road past this point is unpaved. The new event center will be around here, and there is a second entrance to their property here. Given that it's unpaved past this point, Public Works has given them 2 options, either paving the road up to this point or providing a gate on that and not using it to enter the second event center. So those are the options from Public Works. I also want to note that condition 12 in your packets has been adjusted slightly. It now reads, the event barn may have up to 16 bedrooms for overnight lodging total. Said lodging shall be used in conjunction with an event or meeting and otherwise be limited to 16 overnight stays unrelated to events per year. This is to account for the applicant's desire to rent out the bedrooms for guests every now and then. He said he receives less than 10 per year usually. So I just put the condition to include one night per bedroom in each event center. The applicant is here and will answer any questions you may have, as will we.
Okay. Any questions of staff? Upon opening the public comment portion of this hearing, those of you who wish to speak either for or against this item upon recognition will give your name and address each time you begin to speak. This is necessary since the public hearing is being recorded. Will the applicant please come forward?
Good evening. Mark Peterson.
Address?
Home address 21107 Donahue Road, Tonganoxie, Kansas, 66086.
Do you have anything to add to the report?
Well, I do. Had discussions with Jared about the maximum occupancy and how that relates to road traffic and that sort of thing. We requested that the capacity be increased to 500 instead of 250. Those would be very rare events. We've been doing this a little while now, and average is about 150, but we do occasionally get requests for greater than the 250. I think that the main reason for that capacity is the road, and since we hard surface the road and plan to hard surface it the rest of the way, I don't think that's an issue per se. But I don't want to, 5 years from now, when none of you guys are here anymore, have somebody have 260 guests and you're above what your SUP says you're going to do. So the request is to increase the capacity to 500 from 250.
And which one would that be under?
That would be
each.
condition 6, yep.
Okay. 500 instead of 250?
Right. And the reality is, can't predict the future exactly, but the reality is that probably if there was a larger event, a significant amount of that would be bus traffic and not multiple vehicles.
There's 18 requirements altogether. Did you review all 18
I did.
of those? Is that the only one you have a problem with? Everything else is okay?
Is that the only one I don't like? No, but that's the only one that I would like to.
You would like to change, okay? And of course, I think the one was you said number 12 was the bedroom.
Right, and that's fine.
And what was the wording on that?
I changed it to allow 16 overnight stays unrelated to events per year.
Unrelated to the events.
Mm-hmm. Currently, it restricts to only event-related overnight stays. I didn't see a problem with 16 additional nights per year, given the high volume of traffic related to events and such.
Okay. Any questions of the applicant? Anybody? You have anything to add, sir?
I don't think so.
Thank you.
Thank you for your consideration.
Anyone wishing to speak in favor or opposition of this request? Question or favor or opposition? No one's supposed to call in on this one? Okay. Is there any additional information to be presented?
Not at this time, sir.
The public comment portion of this hearing is now closed. Are there any comments or questions, commissioners? Well, what would $500 more people do to the roads? And we want to do that without talking with Public Works?
So I would say that is, I mean, that's a pretty significant increase, given that there are 2 event centers.
Yeah.
That condition would really be modified to allow up to 1,000 people,
Yeah,
which I understand that may be rare, but that is a significant impact
yeah.
On the area, I think. I understand that Mr. Peterson may want to increase that number, and certainly that's something that the Planning Commission can recommend. I would caution against 500 per event center. Like I said, we could, at that point, while there may be less traffic and such, but I mean, I think at that point, you're going to be talking about anywhere between 400 and 600 vehicles coming in and out of there. And certainly the road has been paved, or it's been chip and sealed. That will have an impact on the roadway. I'm not an engineer by any stretch at
It could
all.
be 500 vehicles. Or it could be
500 attendees.
250 vehicles easy.
But there are 2 event centers.
I know. but-
So if you have both of them with 500
Oh, that'd
piece,
be 1,000, that'd be 500 cars.
easy.
Could be 500 cars.
Do they run events concurrently?
Sorry, Commissioner, say it again?
Do they run events concurrently?
I,
Well, no, because they don't have 2 buildings. They have 1 right now.
If you
Yeah,
build
I
it,
believe,
no
well,
limitation.
the question is, do you
Nothing
plan on running events?
stopping them.
Road. I thought I saw at some point in an email that we didn't talk to the road people about that, and they said something about, well, for that number of events, that's not going to be a significant difference. Am I dreaming that?
I don't believe it's in the packet.
They have both events at the same time. So they have
Would that be Public Works?
I believe it was there was communication about the traffic from Mitch.
Still, the
Olson.
roads are
You and I
still narrow.
communicated
Right.
since the staff report was written concerning concurrent events, and you said that would be unlikely.
Because it bothers me to have that many people with social distancing in the front.
Well, probably not right now. You couldn't have, but
No.
eventually, of course, in the county, there is no restrictions on that.
So the,
We're in the
sorry,
comment.
Commissioners. So the statement from Public Works was that a traffic impact study would not be needed. And then there was also a statement that delivery vans have a gross vehicle weight of 9,000 pounds, which is not significant on the roadway.
No.
So that may be what Mr. Peterson is referring
That
to.
could be. And so a bus would be something.
Well, we're in the comment period, people, so you guys have any ideas, any questions, comments?
Okay, I still didn't understand. There's 2 event areas, correct?
Correct, separate.
Or there will be.
Right.
Would there be 2 events going on at the same time?
Sure could, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so you
absolutely.
could actually
Yes.
have.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
But, we've been doing this for 3 or 4 years, and the reality is that those are just rare events, but I don't want to not be able to do it because on paper it says that there's a maximum occupancy.
So currently, as this is written, there could be 500 attendees.
At each place, yeah, potential.
No, 250 at each.
Oh, right.
For a total of 500.
Right.
Okay. And you'd like to change it to 500 to where there could be 1,000,
Correct.
possibly.
And
Okay.
I'm open to, something because the reality is 2 events with 500 people is likely not going to ever happen. But
What's the biggest number of people you've had in an event? So?
about 250, and the average is about 150.
I have a question on number 6, too, on criteria number 6. Jared, why do we differentiate between events and meetings? Because it says meetings at each event center shall not exceed 60.
Sure, that was from the original staff report and the original special use permit. I believe Mr. Peterson must have.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
The idea was that they
5
were going to
years
be
ago,
holding meetings
didn't know
and
what the
events.
world was going to look like.
I just, yeah.
And so it's just still accounts for that, so they can hold more smaller events
But
if
there
they
is-
like. So it sort of is creating a classified system of when there will be more vehicles in attendance.
Yeah, it just seems to me it leads to questions and potential arguments between what is a meeting and what is an event. So, I mean, I don't even know if it's
I
necessary.
totally agree, and it probably should just say events. You know, it
That's
doesn't
what
matter
that's what I was thinking.
If I remember correctly from 5 years ago, at that time, Mr. Peterson was asking for things such as yoga meetings, things such as Rotary Club meetings, and items of that nature. This was a request that Mr. Peterson himself had made, and our typical protocol in planning and zoning is we keep conditions unless there's a substantial reason to change them. So certainly the board, the commission can.
You probably could
And
strike
modify
that
that.
though, right? Because you're allowed 250, I mean, 60.
Right.
Doesn't even be a problem at all.
Right, and so yeah, 5 years ago, when this application process started, we listed a variety of events that might occur in an event center.
Sure.
Well, I didn't list yoga. When we came to this meeting, we mentioned yoga, and oh my gosh, you didn't tell us you were going to have yoga classes there. It was an odd interaction.
All right, well, thank you, sir.
Sure.
Any other comments or questions or a motion? I don't feel comfortable raising it that much without Public Works input myself, but, so I imagine a good thing to do maybe would be to table it. If you guys feel the same way?
Or we could, if we so choose, we could approve it and let the Board of County Commissioners increase it if they deem fit.
David, do you think that would be the way to do it,
To keep
or
it moving.
table it till we got all the
I think-
information?
Mr. Chairman, members of the Planning Commission, I think Commissioner Denny has a valid point. The Donahue Road has been looked at by the county on several occasions. I can't guarantee what Mr. Knoll's comments would be or how quickly he could do it, but I think by the time it appeared before the Board of County Commissioners, Public Works would have adequate input to provide to the board.
So you're saying prove it the way it is and then let him take it?
I think it could be forwarded to the Board of County Commissioners, and during that period of time, we can make appropriate inquiries to Public Works.
And I'm very comfortable with that.
All right, I'll still entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that the proposed special use permit as outlined in case DEV 20-128 be approved, that the findings on the golden factors as set forth in staff report and substantiated by the facts, testimony, and evidence presented be adopted by this board, and that the conditions set forth in the staff report be made part of this special use permit.
Second.
Okay, how are you going to change a couple of these items that were mentioned? Number 6, moving the meetings of each meetings off of it, and then on number 12, for the 16 unrelated nights per year on the sleeping rooms.
Unrelated to events. Yep.
Okay, let me get back to it. Found where I had my notes here. And I'd also like to amend my motion to include number 6. And what we wanted to do was eliminate shall not exceed 60 attendees and 30 vehicles.
Okay.
And what was the other one, number 12?
12,
And what did we want to do on that?
you could have overnight, 16 unrelated overnight visits per year.
Okay. And I'd like to add on number 12, a staff report, 16 overnight stays per year added to item number 12.
Okay? Everybody
Does
got
that
the
pick it
motion?
up?
Everybody got the motion? Is there a second?
I seconded it earlier, and I'll accept the changes.
Okay. Motion on the floor to second. Case number DEB 20-128, special use permit for renewal of Deer Creek Event Center, as well as adding additional event center building. With staff recommendation, changing number 6, removing the meetings, and number 12, adding 12 overnight visits. Is there any further discussion? Everybody understand the motion? Roll call vote. John Matthews.
Yes.
Terry Bukowski.
Yes.
Mark Denny.
Yes.
Alex Tomorrow.
Yes.
Will Smith.
Yes.
Rocky Himpel.
Yes.
Tom Dial.
Yes.
Jeff Spink.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 9-0. The Board of County Commissioners will consider this item on February 3rd at 9 a.m. in the Leavenworth County Courthouse. Any person wishing, anyone wishing to be present for this meeting needs to call the Board of County Commissioners office to be put on the attendance list. Any person wishing to file a protest petition must contact Planning and Zoning Office. Protest petitions must be filed with Leavenworth County within 2 weeks of this meeting to be valid. The protest petitions must be signed by owners of 20% in the land notification area. Good luck to you, sir, and February 3rd, right here, 9 a.m.
Thank you.
Hey, case number DEB 20-142, consideration application for the rezone of a special use permit for M&M Concrete, a contractor's yard located on a tract of land in the northeast quarter of Section 15, Township 8 South, Range 21 East of the 6 p.m., Leavenworth County, Kansas, also known as 204377 Seven Sisters Road. Request submitted by Mr. and Mrs. Lansing requires public hearing. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person. Staff report.
Before us, we have case number DEB 20-142. This is a special use permit for M&M Concrete LLC. The applicant is requesting a renewal for their concrete flat work construction company. The property is also a working farm that includes other equipment and vehicles not related to the business. This is a seasonal business and primarily takes place between April and December. The property is used for storage purposes primarily for the business, specifically a business truck, a trailer, concrete working equipment and materials during off hours and in the off season. It is also used for employee parking during work hours. Customers do not come to the property for services. All work is performed off-site. The business currently has 8 employees in total. The applicant indicates that they employ an average of 3 employees and 1 part-time employee at any given time during the work season. The applicant is here and will answer any questions you may have, as will we.
Okay. Any questions of staff? No. Upon opening the public comment portion of this hearing, those of you who wish to speak either for or against this item upon recognition will give your name and address each time you begin to speak. It's necessary since the public hearing is being recorded. The public comment portion of this hearing is now open. Will the applicant please come forward?
Michael Lansing, 20437 Seven Sisters Road.
You have anything to add to this?
I don't. Everything's been going fine.
Okay, we got 9 requirements. Have you reviewed those 9 requirements?
I have.
And you okay with any of them?
Yeah.
All of them? Okay. Any questions of the applicant? Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We will now hear from individuals present wishing to speak in favor of this request. In favor of this request? Anyone here, individuals present wishing to speak in opposition to this request? In opposition? Is there any additional information to be presented?
No, sir.
The public comment portion of this hearing is now closed. Are there any questions or comments, commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve case DEV 20-142 M&M Construction based on the staff recommendations in the hearings that was just conducted and the limitations, the requirements to be met.
I'll second that.
We have a motion on the floor with a second to approve DEV 20-142, renewal of a special use permit for M&M Concrete and a contractor's yard. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote. John Matthews?
Yes.
Terry Bukowski?
Yes.
Mark Danny?
Yes.
Alex Tomorrow?
Yes.
Will Schmidt?
Yes.
Rocky Hempel?
Yes.
Tom Dials?
Yes.
Jeff Spink?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 9-0. The Board of County Commissioners will consider this item on February 3rd, 9 a.m. at Leavenworth County Courthouse. Any person wishing to file a protest petition must contact the Planning and Zoning Office. Protest petitions must be filed with Leavenworth County within 2 weeks of this meeting. To be valid, the protest petitions must be signed by owners of 20% the land area notification area. Good luck to you, and February 3rd, 9 a.m., right here. Okay, case number DEV 20-132, consideration of application rezoning request from RR5 zoning district to RR 2.5 zoning district for Lot 1, King Estates, a subdivision of Leavenworth County, Kansas, also known as 24646 Conley Avenue. Request submitted by SD and Jack Willis. Requires a public hearing. Public comment portion is limited to 3 minutes per person. Staff report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. This is case number DEV-20-132. This is a rezoning request for Lot 1 of Kane Estates to rezone the parcel from RR5 to RR 2.5. The character of the neighborhood is rural agricultural uses and rural residences. Zoning and uses of nearby property are rural residential 5-acre zoning. Suitability of the property is within an area suitable for rural residential development. Extent to which removal of the restrictions will detrimentally affect nearby property. The area will not likely be detrimentally affected. Rezoning this parcel will allow the 5-acre parcel to be divided in half, resulting in the addition of one additional single-family home. Length of time the property has been vacant is zoned. It is not vacant. Relative gain to the economic development, public health, safety, and welfare. The proposed use is in accordance with existing land uses in the area and conformance to the comprehensive plan. The future land use map, which was adopted on October 28th of 2020, indicates this area is rural residential 2.5, meaning that this request is in conformance to the comprehensive plan, and therefore staff's recommendation is for the approval of this rezoning request. The applicant is here and will answer any questions you may have, as will I.
Okay. Any questions of staff? We continue.
So the intent of this is so that they can build another house.
That's my understanding, yes.
Upon opening the public comment portion of this hearing, those of you who wish to speak either for or against this item upon recognition will give your name and address each time you begin to speak. This is necessary since the public hearing is being recorded. The public comment portion of this hearing is now open. Will the applicant please come forward?
Good evening, Joe Herring, Herring Surveying, 315 North 5th Street. Staff, the report there. Just want to use the comprehensive plan and rezone to 2.5.
Any questions, the applicant? Okay, thank you, sir. We will now hear from individuals present who wish to speak in favor of this request, and remember, everybody's limited to 3 minutes. And I think you got a timer there to watch it.
Yes, we do.
Anyone here wishing to speak in favor? Do we have anybody on calling in that's in favor?
I don't believe so.
We will now hear from individuals present wishing to speak in opposition to this request. Anyone here wishing to speak in opposition? Come on up, sir. State your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes from the time you get here.
Okay. Can I take my mask off to talk?
I think that's okay. He's far enough, isn't he?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm Rick Reichman. I'm the property owner on the south end of this estates, Kane Estates. I've owned the property for 10 years, and I realize the development has been there probably about 20 years. You know, I go back there far enough that I used to farm that ground when Kathy Kane owned it. Kathy Kane's dad owned it, so I'm a long-time resident there. I'm hearing out of frustration, lack of a better word. They've got a retention pond that's approximately 2 acres. And I've had some discussions that started back in May of 17 with David Luthi, the director of Leavenworth County Planning or engineer, because I was complaining about the water that's constantly coming through that system. I sent you guys a letter and some pictures, and I really don't feel like reading that letter here. But some of the problems I have, it looks to me like 20 years ago it was acceptable to take a 40-acre piece of land, build roads and ditches and culverts and push up home sites and dump all the water into a 2-acre retention pond and then dump it on the neighbor. And that's what has happened. And we have put up with it for a long time. What happened to me in 17, the frustration was I couldn't get anybody to do any maintenance on the retention pond. There's 4 36-inch pipes that drain water from that retention pond. And Dave Luthi said that on a 100-year flood event, there would be 3.5 feet of water. You take 3.5 feet of water and you go spread it over 2 acres, that's 2 million gallons of water. And he says that's going to drain in 24 hours. Now, he said normally there will be 2.5 foot of water in there. So that's 1.6 million gallons that's going to drain across my property. And I have not seen that level of water in that, but I contend that more houses, more concrete and gravel and less percolation area for water is just going to make it worse. I think it's funny that now that this is wanting to be split, after I've tried, I even asked County Commissioner Doug Smith, who do I talk to get this retention pond cleaned up? Because it's just got a gut going right down the middle of it. All the water that runs in there runs right through those 2 pipes and goes out in my field. I can't farm my field.
Your time is up,
okay,
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Where is this pond at? I don't see it on this lot.
It's on the south end of lot number 2. I've got some pictures attached to it if you want to look at what I sent you.
Well, I know, but if it's not on this lot, we
it
can't
is.
really. Did
you find it? Okay, go over to the southwest corner. See where it's not on lot 1. You got it cornered across. It's right there where your arrow is. See those trees?
Oh, it's there.
Yeah, those were the trees that have been in there for years that I've tried to get dozed down, cleaned up, and somebody went and did that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because of this, probably. I don't know. I couldn't figure out any. What upset me was the people at the Leavenworth County couldn't tell me who to call. I ain't afraid to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's where.
Well, I see your frustration, but it actually doesn't affect this lot whatsoever. So.
No, but it would if you built a house there, pushed up more land, put another sump pump in, pump more water to that.
Yeah, it would increase it.
And you're probably operating under a grandfather clause now, and this would increase the affluent to the pond.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Which lot is yours, sir?
I do. I own the 65 acres south of that. I own about 400 acres out there in that neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And where that arrow is, all of that around that
Right.
property there is mine, and then catty cornered across the Blacktop South, I own 160 and an 80.
Right. Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? In opposition to this request? Anybody on the phone?
No.
That's it. Any additional information to be presented?
I would like to point out that on the plat, there is a drainage easement there on that lot that he's talking about. That drainage easement does indeed exist. And then of course, as you all know, if this lot is subdivided, they will be required to submit drainage calculations that
Right.
state that it will not increase
Right,
drainage
yeah.
on neighboring properties.
I just, the way you talked, I thought it was on the lot, and I didn't see it on there, and I thought, well, it's not affecting this lot. We can't really, consider that, I don't think. No additional information?
No, sir.
Okay. The public comment portion of this hearing is now closed. Are there any questions or comments, commissioners?
This has been a recurring issue more than once that we've had here for the commission, about drainage and development causing more runoff. And I'm not sure what the solution is, but I think there's some valid issues about as you build more, we're going to have more runoff.
Now we get really good engineer reports on drainage.
It's the easiest thing to complain about, in my opinion.
We didn't get those a long time ago when this subdivision was done. I know we didn't have those.
Right.
Now
No.
we've got good.
Yes, it is a requirement, and according to state statute, you cannot create runoff onto your neighbor's property. Now, of course, if something changes after the plat has been approved and a neighbor does something, it becomes a civil issue. But as long as the plat is being adhered to, that drainage work does come in and it's thoroughly reviewed by engineering.
So if that pond were maintained down there in Lot 3, this could possibly resolve the issue. What do the engineers say about that? Do they even take that into account?
Well, it's
That retention
no,
pond?
it's only on the current plat. I mean, this was platted a long time ago. I don't know what the issue is and why that's such an issue there, but correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I mean, I just don't think there's an issue that we can take care of with this rezoning. All right, so.
I'd agree with you, but I am curious as to, let's say he came in today with his complaint that he came to Mr. Legion about several years ago. What would we tell him now? What would the county? Is there anything we can do? Does he have any recourse at all?
So again,
it has nothing to do with this plat.
Yeah,
I'm just
sure.
curious.
Yeah. So again, as long as the property owner of that lot is not doing anything to impede drainage or to back up water, then there's not much that we can do. Now again, as long as they're not developing within that drainage area, and I'm happy the gentleman brought it to our attention that there's been tree work and such taking place out there. We'll have to go out and take a look and see if somebody's trying to build a barn or something. However, as long as they are respecting the drainage easement, there's not very much we can do. However, if they were to go in and they say they built a building in that drainage easement or something, at that point we could take them to codes court. I wasn't privy to the conversation with Mr. DeLucian, as I'm sure you're aware, so I am unsure of why of what happened during that conversation.
But now, every time we do a plat, and is it for every plat, right, even a small one?
Yes.
There's an engineer report that deals with the drainage issues and that. So I think that's a great thing, and I think things like that wouldn't happen now, but that's the way they are now. But hopefully not anyway. All right. Any other comments or questions? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that proposed rezoning as outlined in case DEV 20-132 be approved, that the findings on the golden factors as set forth in staff report and substantiated by the facts, testimony, and evidence presented, be adopted by this board, and that the conditions set forth in the staff report be made part of this rezoning.
Second.
Okay, we had a motion by Rocky and a second by Mr. Smith. Motion is to approve case number DEV 20-132, rezoning request from R5 zoning districts to R2.5 zoning district for Lot 1 Kane Estates. Is there any further discussion? Now I have roll call vote. John Matthews.
Yes.
Jerry Bukowski.
Yes.
Mark Denny.
Yes.
Alex Demaro.
Yes.
Will Smith.
Yes.
Rocky Hempel.
Yes.
Tom Dials.
Yes.
Jeff Spink.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 9-0. The Board of County Commissioners will consider this item on February 3rd, 9 a.m. The Leavenworth County Courthouse. Any person wishing to file a protest petition must contact the Planning and Zoning Office. Protest petitions must be filed with Leavenworth County within 2 weeks of this meeting. To be valid, the protest petitions must be signed by owners of 20% of the land area notification area. And we're moving along. Case number DEV 20-137. Consideration application rezone request for R5 district to R2.5 district for Lot 9A and Lot 9B of Deer Mountain subdivision, a subdivision located in the northwest quarter of Section 2, Township 12, Range 20 East at the 6 p.m. of Leavenworth County, Kansas, also known as 254th Street. Request is submitted by Hearing Survey. This requires a public hearing. Public comment list is limited to 3 minutes per person. Staff report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. This is case number DEV-20-137. This is a rezoning request of 160 acre, total of 160 acres located at the southeast corner of 254th and Stillwell Road. As you can see, that this is part of Deer Mountain subdivision. You can see that Deer Mountain subdivision has been developed at the 5 acre rural residential density, which is what it is currently zoned as. The rest of the area is heavily agriculture with very large lots. Those two roadways, 254th Street and Stillwell Road, are both gravel roadways. The character of their neighborhood is primarily agricultural in nature, with primary use being ag and rural residences. The zoning, the entire area is zoned as rural residential 5. Suitability of the property for the uses to which it has been restricted. The property is within an area suitable for large lot rural homes and agriculture. Extent to which removal of the restrictions will detrimentally affect nearby property. If rezoned, the area may see a substantial increase in homes and thereby a substantial increase in traffic on gravel roadways. That being said, if a subdivision were to come in to follow this in, I think there would be very serious conversations with engineering and public works on whether or not those roadways needed to be upgraded. Length of time the property has been vacant as zoned. The property has been used for agriculture for several decades. Relative gain to economic development, public health, safety, and welfare. The developer could potentially build twice as many homes on the property. This does conform to the comprehensive plan. Currently, the comprehensive plan, again, which was just approved, as this area is slated for rural residential 2.5 acre. Therefore, primarily because of its adherence to the comprehensive plan, staff recommends approval of this rezoning request. The applicant is here and will answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Any questions of staff?
That is Lot 9A and Lot 9B, I assume that's those two lots.
Correct.
Together.
Yeah.
What are the stipulations for this?
Conditions?
The conditions.
We typically don't have conditions on rezoning requests.
Okay, so there'd be nothing in there that would require further on down if they develop it, that they improve the roads or anything like that.
Well, that would be if they made a subdivision, that would be a subdivision requirement.
So for
this is just a rezone.
Yeah,
So it doesn't mean that there's going to be a subdivision. It's just a rezone at this point in time. they come with a plan to develop the property, then the requirements of roads and everything would come into play.
So this is an initiative, if someone wanted to develop, this is the first step, and then
It's
you
the
go
first
to the
step. If they
replat.
want to develop it into
It gives them more options.
Yeah, right.
It gives them the option, yeah.
Gives them the option.
Right, I got it. Okay, thanks. Got
Any
it.
other questions of staff? Okay, upon opening the public comment portion of this hearing, those of you who wish to speak either for or against this item upon recognition will give your name and address each time you get to speak. This is necessary since the public hearing is being recorded. The public comment portion of this hearing is now open. Also remember, you're limited to 3 minutes per person. Will the applicant please come forward?
Joe Herring, Herring Surveying, 315 North 5th Street. Again, staff pretty much summed it up, here to match the comprehensive plan that was just approved and rezoned this to 2.5 acres.
Any questions of the applicant?
Thank you.
Thank you. We will now hear from individuals present wishing to speak in favor of this request. In favor? We have anybody calling in that's in favor?
Commissioners, if you would you try to speak directly into your microphones? It's difficult to hear back here.
Okay.
Can't hear you either.
We will now hear from individuals wishing to speak in opposition to this request. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Please state your name and address.
Good evening, Melissa Chapman, 14690 254th Street. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Melissa Chapman. My husband Ryan and I reside at 14690 254th Street, which is the property that will be most impacted by the development of lots 9A and 9B. We are opposed to the rezoning of these lots to RR 2.5. Our front door is approximately 40 feet from the property line, and our entire front porch view is the field to the south. When we purchased our home, we were not aware that the property to the south had been purchased with the intent of putting in a subdivision. We moved to the country from the city of Olathe in October of 2020 to get out of the congestion of the city, away from the noise and the traffic, and to have a little spot for my husband to hunt. Rezoning this area and allowing homes to be built on 2.5-acre lots will significantly increase traffic for the area, disrupt wildlife, and our quiet little neighborhood will be abuzz with cars, delivery trucks, construction supply trucks, and construction noise. Our reasons for opposition are many, but I will discuss two this evening: the traffic and the increased noise. Stillwell Road and 254th Street cannot support the increased traffic that an additional 30 to 35 houses could bring to the area. Currently, there is minimal traffic that travels south on 254th Street. My husband works from home, and he estimates that fewer than 10 cars pass our home during the day. Increased traffic will escalate the county road maintenance costs with the added attention that Stillwell Road and 254th Street will need with gravel application and road grader work. If it is in the plan to pave these roads, then essentially the taxpayers of Leavenworth County are paying for a blacktop road that only serves the residents on this road. Added traffic and congestion to the current intersections is also a concern. The intersections from Highway 24 to Stillwell Road are not at 90-degree angles. Not having intersections at 90-degree angles increases the likelihood of accidents. These intersections will need to be reworked to support the increase in traffic, mitigate traffic flow, and decrease accidents, again, costing the Leavenworth County taxpayers. Also, the intersection of Stillwell Road, where it turns from dirt road to blacktop, is a blind corner, and residents of the Deer Mound area have to cross oncoming traffic to turn onto Stillwell Road. Increased traffic at this intersection will likely both lead to head-on and rear-end collisions. As I stated earlier, we moved out to the country to escape the noise and enjoy wide-open views and to have a place for my husband to hunt. We love our little spot and the quiet and calm that surrounds us. We are not thrilled about the fact that we could potentially have construction noise for an estimated 20-plus years as this new subdivision is developed and our wide-open country view may soon be dotted with houses and the current wildlife population will also be impacted by the development of this subdivision. So in conclusion, we are opposed to the rezoning of lots 9A, 9B to RR 2.5. Thank you for your time and attention to the future development of Leavenworth County and to the future of the Deer Mound neighborhood.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition?
name is Stephen Miles. I live at 24603 Stillwell Road. Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to oppose this planned rezoning. Melissa did a great job of outlining the traffic situations. However, having lived at my address for 20 plus years, and helping my in-laws who have the 160 acres directly west of this development, or these two lots, across the road of 254th. I help take care of the livestock there, and I've spent 20 years driving back and forth between my house and the farm, which is down Stillwell Road a mile. That road gets very poor in the springtime and would not handle too much more traffic on it at this time. As Melissa pointed out, that would create more expense to the county department to maintain that road if they even would. During the winter, that road has many cuts that cause drifting, heavy drifting. Several years ago, we had that road was drifted shut for probably 3 weeks. If not for me going back and forth with the tractor and the blade just so I could feed the cattle, those folks living along along Stillwell Road would not have been able to get out for at least a week, if not more. And even then, the county only opened it one lane. This has been a farm area for many, generations actually. And so there's lots of heavy equipment going up and down the road, wide equipment nowadays. And I can't tell you the number of times that hopping over a hill on Stillwell Road, which would be the main transit in and out of the area, how many times I've had to swerve even though I'm hugging the ditch on my side of the road to avoid hitting somebody coming over the top of the road. As you all know, most people drive down the center of a gravel road. This area is at the junction of Tonganoxie and Lawrence school districts, so we have both school buses coming out that way. I don't know all the regulations about how those districts are divided up, but we do have both school buses coming in and out of there. The water is another concern. I know you've got a letter from the Rural Water District that says that they could supply water to these two lots, and I believe that is just these two lots. What happens in the future? So I assume that's my 3 minutes.
That's your 3 minutes. Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak?
My name's Crystal Miles. I live at 24603 Stillwell Road. My mother, the parents, Donna Wiley, live at on 254th Street. As my husband Stephen was saying, we do take care of livestock there. And so we are concerned about more houses interacting with the livestock. We're concerned about the roads. We're concerned about the access to the community. We have those weird triangle, hilly intersections. And I know there's been at least one fatality at the end of my driveway from a vehicle missing the curve there. And there's also been one on the 243rd and Highway 24. And those have been probably in the last 5 years. So high-speed traffic on 24. We're also next to the Grenzer Sunflower. So we see high traffic with that, and they use these roads for back roads sometimes. So with the water district, he was talking about the water. They've written a letter. It didn't really say much, except they would supply water to 2 lots. They didn't say they would supply water to 30 lots. And if this is subdivided, that's where we're headed. In common sense would tell me. And 2.5 acre lots are required to have public water. That's in your code. So I did want to point out, I've heard kind of some rubber stamps tonight about the development code, and this meets the development code. But if you look at the development code map, it basically shows all of southern Leavenworth County as highlighted as 2.5 acres. And let's stop and think. Is this really a place where that needs to happen? This is not prime farmland, but it's the second level, identified by the state as good farmland. It just seems like it's ill-advised to start making this into a subdivision. We're a remote area. Roads aren't good. People move out there if we get a big snowstorm. They're stuck. They can't. Ambulances can't get in. My parents both have used an ambulance in the last 5 years. It's just a nightmare for us. So we're asking you to stop and think. Maybe this shouldn't happen here. Like I say, the whole map shows that all of southern Leavenworth County is 2.5 acres, but that really is for not everything, and this isn't a place where that should apply. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition?
Hi, Commissioners. My name is William Meyer, 24913 Silville Road. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today on the agenda item. I say it for you today, along with the majority of our neighbors, saying in strong opposition of this zoning change. The proposed property lies at the back of an established rural neighborhood with one way in and one way out of this area. This route is nearly 1.5 miles of dirt gravel road that impacts every property owner that resides in this rural community. I'm going to use my time to elaborate some topics mentioned directly from the planning staff report, personal concerns, and shared thoughts from our neighbors. Reference point 1 from the report, character of the neighborhood. It contains a decade-old homesteads, large lots, agriculture lots, and the existing home development that began in 2000 and ended in 2008. This is the area that was built based on RR5, and as mentioned, there is no RR 2.5 in this area for several miles. The development of large-scale subdivision and the potential of 30 to 40 new homes is difficult to support while retaining the character of this area. Reference point number 4 from the report. This is a direct comment from the staff report, and this item speaks to neighborhood concerns. Extent to which removal of the restrictions will detrimentally affect nearby property. Increased traffic with additional 100-plus cars twice a day. The potential of 20-plus years of construction traffic along these roads. And increased home deliveries. UPS, FedEx, and Amazon has been a uptick increase on our country roads. As mentioned in the report, the gravel road is stated as a 24-foot wide road. In front of my house on Stillwell Road, at 18 feet, you're in the ditch. And these roads are below average, below average. And simply the road cannot take this increased traffic. With the recent snowfall and rain, these roads quickly degrade to mud at current traffic amounts. As mentioned, neither road is slated for upgrades or improvements. Rainwater drainage. Large amounts of rainwater drainage will be directed to and through surrounding neighbors. Through small creeks and typically dry ravines due to a loss of permeable land covered by a number of homes, roads, driveways. Please note that no drainage study was applied to this proposal. Increase in private septic systems, nearly 30 to 40 new septic systems inundate this property. In closing, Commissioners, my opposition, along with my neighbors, comes down to the location of the property and the intent to use as a large-scale development if rezoned. The entire surrounding area is zoned RR5 and should stay that way. Planning a large-scale development on the backside of a developed rural neighborhood places incredible burden on the existing property through dramatic increase in traffic, road dust concerns, water drainage, erosion, pollution, noise, lengthy construction. Thank you for your time, Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Do we have anybody calling in opposition? No? Is there any additional information to be presented?
Not at this time, sir.
The public comment portion of this hearing is now closed. Are there any questions or comments, Commissioners?
Crystal, what is, I can't see the contour line, so I don't know which way the drainage would be from these two lots. And how would that impact drainage into the current ones?
So again, if we were to, let me get there just a second so we can pull up the. if a plat were to come through, and let's be realistic here, when a plat comes through, a drainage study will be required. There's not any doubt about that. So there are your contours. It's relatively flat.
Yep, okay.
And if this is just the rezoning, and a plat would, I'm sure roads would have to be improved. With that much traffic, I would think that would be a condition.
I can tell you, Commissioner, that a condition of a subdivision plat would be that a traffic study come along with the subdivision plat, certainly. And if that traffic study indicated that improvements needed to be made, staff would push very hard for that.
And if there wasn't enough water to supply the homes, the plat would not be approved.
That's it.
It would have to.
Water district.
They would have to upgrade the water lines to provide water also. Again, we're here just now considering rezoning, not a plat.
I think it's important to, this is a rezoning certainly, but, it is important to keep in mind what the rezoning entails.
Yeah, it's going to be a plat, otherwise they wouldn't rezone it. But the plat can be taken care of, will take care of a lot of concerns that people have. Not the density, of course, but everything else. But the roads, the water, the drainage, all would be addressed on a plat. So,
what's the total acreage here in lot 1 and 2?
110 acres total.
But I understand you to say that this RR 2.5 conforms with the comprehensive plan.
It does.
I'm looking at the map and I don't see RR 2.5 off of Stillwell Road. Am I looking?
Are you looking at the comprehensive plan?
Comprehensive plan, yeah.
The future land use map?
Future land use map?
No, sorry, that's current zoning, what you have pulled up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The future land use.
So the new guy's in the wrong place again, okay.
You want to pull up, can you pull that up fairly fast? The new one, just show that everybody knows it is it's in the new comprehensive plan. I mean, that was my first question when I saw the thing, and I looked at the first use map, and it definitely is in the 2.5 area.
Okay, be patient with me. I'll get smarter as time goes on.
Oh, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. You're just looking at the wrong map.
Not the first time that's happened.
I'll pull up the comprehensive plan.
Oh, I've got it here. I keep a copy open all the time. I've even read it.
I think we all have. Many times.
There's a comprehensive plan right there. The new one.
Yellow is the 2.5 area, and show where that subdivision is.
Oh, I know where it is.
And this is Stillwell Road here.
Stillwell Road is right there, yeah. So it's well
Okay.
right in the center of the pretty much the 2.5 acre zoning. And just on the new comprehensive plan. So. Any other comments or questions, Commissioner? I'll entertain a motion.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move that proposed rezoning as outlined in case DEV 20-137 be approved. The findings of the golden factors are set forth in staff report and substantiated by the facts, testimony, and evidence presented be adopted by this board, and that the conditions set forth in the staff report be made part of this rezoning.
There's a second.
Second.
Thanks.
I have a motion on the floor with a second. to approve case number DEV 20-137, rezoning request from RR5 district to RR2.5 district for lot 9A and lot 9B of Deer Mountain subdivision. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote. John Matthews?
Yes.
Terry Burkowski?
Yes.
Mark Denny?
Yes.
Alex DeMauro?
Yes.
Will Smith?
Yes.
Bucky Himpel?
Yes.
Tom Dials?
Yes.
Jeff Spink?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 9-0. The Board of County Commissioners will consider this item on February 3rd, 9 a.m., Leavenworth County Courthouse. Any person wishing to file a protest petitions must contact Planning and Zoning Office. Protest petitions must be filed with Leavenworth County within 2 weeks of this meeting. To be valid, the protest petition must be signed by owners of 20% the land area notification area. Thank you, and February 3rd, same place, right here. Going on, case number DEV 20-140, consideration application for a rezoning request from B3 and RR5 zoning district to B3 zoning district on a tract of land located in the northeast quarter, section 3, township 9, range 21 east of the 6 p.m. Leavenworth County, Kansas, also known as 00000 Springdale Road. Request submitted by Greg Ledford. Requires a public hearing. Public comment portions limited 3 minutes per person. Staff report.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, this is case number DEV-20-140. This is a rezoning request for a parcel of land located at the northeast quarter of Springdale Road and 207th Street. As you can see, a portion of this property is already zoned as B3. The applicant is requesting to extend the current B3 zoning to the entire parcel. The character of the neighborhood is rural agricultural uses and rural residences. Zoning of the nearby properties, the nearby zoning is RR5. However, all four corners there are zoned as B3, general business. Suitability of the property for the uses to which it's been restricted. The property is within an area which is suitable for residential uses. Additionally, this property is located on a state-maintained highway, therefore making it more suitable for commercial uses than if it were situated on solely county roadways. Extent to which removal of the restrictions will detrimentally affect nearby property. The area is not likely to be detrimentally affected. A portion of this property has been zoned as B3 for several years. Length of time the property has been vacant is zoned. It is not vacant. Relative gain to economic development, public health, safety, and welfare. The proposed use will allow the applicant to run a boat and RV storage business on the parcel, which is what has been proposed, keeping in mind that if this property is completely rezoned, that does open it up to the entire table of uses, certainly. Conformance to the comprehensive plan. The future land use map has this area indicated as RR 2.5, though again, because it is existing B3 zoning, staff is recommending approval of the rezoning request. Mr. Ledford is here and will answer any questions that you may have. I do ask commissioners that you try to speak up and speak directly into your microphones, please. Thank you.
Now, it is zoned currently 2.5.
Correct.
The comprehensive plan shows it to remain 2.5.
Right.
A boat storage facility can be done with a special use permit, correct?
It's an allowed use. In B3, it's an allowed use. In RR 2.5,
I just
it's
wanted to make sure I had
special
everything
use.
straight. Any questions of staff? Upon opening the public comment portion of this hearing, those of you who wish to speak either for or against this item upon recognition will give your name and address. Time to begin to speak. This public hearing is being recorded. The public comment portion of this hearing is now open. Will the applicant please come forward?
Good evening, Commissioners. Greg Ledford, 12139 Leavenworth Road, Kansas City, Kansas.
You have anything to add to the report?
I appreciate the Commissioner's time this evening to hear and review my proposal. I look forward to answering any questions you might have and eventually moving to the area. We plan to open up a boat and RV storage business there, a small business, and then move forward with plans to locate there and build a home.
If you realize if you zone it B3, you won't be able to build a home on it.
He could still build a home. That's still an
You can
allowed
build a home
use.
on it? All right. Any questions of the applicant?
I have a couple questions, Chairman. First question is, if you're going to build a home, where about on the parcel you're going to build the home?
Where approximately? Basically, if you look where it says Springdale Road right there, basically go straight north of there in that higher portion, not that far, maybe a third of the way in, close to the highway, right about in that area would be the best place on a home for a home on that property.
One of the things I'm concerned about is if we zone, there's a small portion that's B3 and most of it is, I believe it's R5, isn't it? And I'm concerned about the buildings. It says number 7. You might point where they're at up there. And I'm concerned about a buffer zone in between. I'm not really, I think encroachment too far B3 is not warranted. I look at the other corner of the intersection, all the B3s are in a small area. Now you're wanting to take all that road to Springdale Road and do it all to B3, and I think some of it should be left 5.
We had spoken with Mr. Ledford about that, about just rezoning the parcel for where he would need for the RV storage. I think certainly if that's something that the Planning Commission wants to explore, I think that's absolutely worth talking about and worth potentially making a requirement.
And then not only that, you're jumping from an R2.55, you bypass the next rating, you bypass the B1 and you bypass the B2. That's all them zones you're passing to get to that B3. And I think that's too much jumping in the area myself. I don't think we're protecting the area.
You said you had 2? Is that both of them?
Pardon?
You said you had 2 questions.
Well, that's mainly that one will cover it. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. Anything else, anybody? Okay.
Well, where's the RV and boat storage going to be? Where
Where is that going to be located on the property? Is that what you're asking?
I know, is it going to be close to the house, or where is it going to be?
It is going to be down there in the bottom section. Down there, if you look on 207th Street, approximately due east of where the 85-foot mark is, it will be down in that lower section there, across the bottom.
So, sir, are you opposed? Crystal said that you had some conversation. Are you opposed to making just a portion of the property B3, or is it all or nothing?
That was originally my proposal, was to make a portion of the property B3, a big enough portion that would encompass what I was wanting to do. But after talking with the planning office here, they recommended, based off of the shape that I wanted, they preferred more of a rectangular shape or something like the traditional shape. They said probably the best thing for me to do, the proposal would be to just rezone the entire property at that point. So that is what I went with.
So roughly, what would you want? If you could just take your marker and say, "This is what I want," what would it be?
Okay. What I initially had was, if you can kind of see on the, you see a lighter area there in the bottom. There's some timber line about a little over halfway over on the larger section. That timber line right there. I had initially proposed to go kind of an L shape straight across there and then come up and encompass into the B3. So it would have been an L shape, leaving most of the rest of the property open as the residential as it is.
I agree. That's not a good
I
planning.
believe one of the comments from staff was actually that if Mr. Ledford was going to pursue rezoning a portion of the property would need to be surveyed. If we were only rezoning a portion of it, we would have to have a valid legal description so that we knew exactly what was being rezoned. And I think that may have been part of the hesitation.
Okay, any other questions?
Would you be willing to get a survey and go back and resubmit to get actually what you want, and still meet our zoning requirements?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. The math's making it very difficult for me to hear. I apologize.
Are you willing to go back and relook this and resubmit to meet what you would like, still keeping part of it R5?
I could make those changes, yes, if that was needed.
What would you have to do that? Just would you draw this one? And
A survey would be required.
No, I understand that. Would you be willing for us to? What we can do is table this, and then you can come back to this, right, Crystal?
Yes, that's
with a
certainly-
resubmission after you've surveyed it and all that.
That's certainly an option.
Is that a good option?
I think honestly, from staff's original proposal was that a survey of just the area where they were proposing to have the B3 was the best option. I believe this property may be under contract, so I think time is of the essence. So that's certainly something that Mr. Ledford is going to have to consider. But I think from staff's perspective, certainly that's the best option.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Okay, any other questions at this point?
I would like to make one comment concerning this area. If it was a survey, I'd like to see a square, not another odd-shaped lot.
That's one thing we would probably really want to consider, I would think.
We wouldn't necessarily have to divide the parcel.
No.
So the parcel itself would remain as it is.
Yeah, I would just, the part of the B3 should be a nice square piece and not going with the contour of the land or going with the trees or stuff like that. It should be a straight rectangle piece to add on to it. And where he wants that will make it very difficult where he wants to put it, I would think. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not a surveyor and I haven't walked the ground, so
Does it make any difference if they do that and somewhere down the road somebody would want to split that? Like take the B3 and leave it over here and then keep the 5 or the 2.5, whatever it is, and leave it. Like, is there enough frontage to do that?
I believe so. That would require a plat. Obviously, that would require a survey and such, but I believe there would be enough road frontage to do that, but don't quote me on that. It appears, just from looking at it, that there would be. And of course, it depends on exactly where that split occurred.
Any other questions of the applicant? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jim.
We'll now hear from individuals present wishing to speak in favor of this request. In favor of this request? Anybody calling in that's in favor? You're in favor?
Robert W. Smith, I live in the southwest corner, 207th and Springdale.
Please give your address.
Pardon me?
Your address.
28721 207th Street.
Thank you.
I don't know for sure, but I know if they put this thing in here, it reflects some type of light over there to that intersection. That intersection is coal black at nighttime. You can't see nothing. That'd be great if it had some type of light over there so you could see. Also, when I was in the military, when I was stationed at Lauderdale Air Force Base, we moved from, we had to have our housing stuff moved to a storage facility. We were looking at buying a house. Fortunately, down the road from us, where we bought the house, was a storage facility. And it was right next to a residential area. You know, how they got it in, I don't know, but it sure was convenient. And there's a lot of military out here that need to have storage facilities. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this request? We'll now hear from individuals present wishing to speak in opposition to this request. Anyone here wishing to speak in opposition?
In opposition.
You want to talk?
Opposition.
In opposition.
My name's John Bradford. I live at 28571 207th. I'm just south of that intersection is where I am. I don't have nothing against Mr. Ledford, but there's a number of factors here. First place, it's not agricultural related, okay? That's number one, okay? And if you look at the lay of the ground, there's a little creek behind there. If you start blacktopping, gravel, concrete, you're going to have a problem there, okay? That's another problem right there. And my whole thing is the way that Leavenworth County does zoning and stuff like that, you have to take in consideration, which I don't know if this board does, but I know the rest of the boards, what I've seen in the past, I don't think they take in consideration. You have to look at where is Leavenworth County in the ranking of the 105 counties, okay? Population-wise, they're number 6, okay? But in area size, they're number 100. So what's that tell you? That tells you that you've got a lot of people and you don't have a lot of square area. And when Leavenworth County, to me, is not a very friendly agricultural county, because if you look in the past, okay, and the bigger counties in Kansas, you take Ford County, Butler County, some of them have 1,300 square miles. Leavenworth County has 492 square miles, okay? And why they let people come out in their rural area of business, because people have to drive so far to get a service, okay? Where Leavenworth County, you can go anywhere on the four corners of Leavenworth County, and you can be somewhere and you can buy anything you want within an hour's time, is what you can do, all right? And you're not agricultural friendly. One thing is that I've seen this Leavenworth County take ground out, okay, subdivide ground, okay, and some of it's supposed to be on a 5-acre thing where they go down to 1.5 acres, okay, and that's a lot of the problem you had. Why the Leavenworth County's been in a sewer business down in Fairmont, Baser, and them like that. But as far as this goes, City of Leavenworth just has a new business park. Tonganoxie has one. Baser has one, okay? And this doesn't fit an RV storage, an RV boat storage. That doesn't fit that. It's right there. You need to keep that area agricultural is what you need to do. That's fitting more for Perry Lake.
Sir, your time is up.
What's that?
Your time is up.
Oh, well.
Okay, thank you.
My time's up.
Yeah, you had 3 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm against it. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition?
I'm Barbara Heemstra, 21503 Spruce Road. So I live about 2 miles from this property. This intersection has become very busy. We have a lot of people that are going back and forth to the high school at Easton and the elementary school. So it's a very busy intersection. I'd like to know where the road to access your property would go. Would it go from 92 or would it go in on 207? And it says here the proposal is for rezoning all of the property to G3, but now he's talking about building a home, possibly a shop, RV storage. So what is it really going to be? We don't know, and that's what concerns us.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition?
Marilyn Thompson, 28664 207th Street. And I agree with Mr. Bradford and this lady that it's a very busy intersection, and I don't know why there would be a need for an RV boat storage, kind of like out in the middle of nowhere. And there's plenty of storage down there at the old Walmart there on Spruce Street. That's nothing but storage now. Maybe not for RVs and boats, but how many people in that area would even use that? Did you do what kind of a study did you do?
Ma'am, you're speaking to us.
Oh, I'm sorry. What kind of a study did he do that would show a need for that type of business?
I don't know if we did one.
I mean, it's nothing but, farmland out there, and it's a very busy highway, and that 207th Street goes up, to the schools and everything, and it's very busy. And I just think it's just going to end up being a mess, an abandoned, because the RV boat thing won't go. You'll end up not building a house, and it's just going to be like a junkyard left there.
Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Sir, you had your 3 minutes.
Can I just say one thing?
No, you had your 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
Well, there was other people wrote in something.
Well, yeah, we've had things from other people. We've had things that were given to us tonight, and I don't know if there was any in the packet that we had, but you had some tonight that we saw. Any phone? Anybody phone?
No, sir.
Yeah, so that's it? Any additional information to be presented?
No, sir.
Public comment portion of this hearing is now closed. Are there any questions or comments, commissioners? Well, my thought is, and I'll start, it doesn't fit our comprehensive plan, which we just had two that did fit our comprehensive plan, our new plan, and we did do that. This one does not. It can be done with a special use permit, and we have other ones that are running with special use permits. I don't see, in my opinion, not to resolve it, but that's my opinion. So what's your other thoughts?
What do you think about tabling it to enable Mr. Ledford to go back, re-examine it, and see if he can make it fit?
I don't know if I would change my mind on that or not. I would have to probably see it, but.
Does it matter at all why that stuff was B3? Like, would that influence?
There's nothing, no businesses on any corners.
No.
No, I didn't think so.
No, that's what we have to.
Yeah.
Why were those zoned B3?
They've been zoned that way for a very long time. I don't know.
How big an area is the B3? You know?
I think they were right at an acre.
Acre?
Yeah.
Probably something for a convenience store or something like that.
Yeah, I assume because they're on a state highway and 207th Street is a major arterial road throughout the county.
It's pretty busy intersection, a lot of people.
Someone may have believed that last one time.
I go through there every day.
Yeah. Well, any other comments? Thoughts?
I would tend to agree with you, Steve, except for B3 is right there, so part of it is. So
Part of it
I
is.
think there would be some justification to
Okay, we've had
expanding it.
We've had B3 before that came before us, and they wanted to expand it, and it would have made it square, and it was turned down by us. And
When was that?
Oh, it's been a few years back. That was
When's
on
the auction?
158th and 158 and K32 on the corner. It was
I know the gas station there.
yeah, well, on the other side of the gas station, there was part of that was Zone B something, and they wanted to rezone it, and it would have just made it square. It would have squared it out. It would have made sense. But it was not. It was turned down by this committee and commissioners.
What was the reason?
It was spot zoning that added to it, and it didn't fit the comprehensive plan. That'd be the only way they could have not
I
have.
believe
done it.
there was substantial public input on that.
There
I
was?
remember very clearly staff recommended approval of it because it's not spot zoning. If the zoning already exists there, and you're talking about extending the zoning, and certainly I think the commission can and should consider only rezoning a portion of this, certainly. However, I wouldn't go so far as to say that's spot zoning because B3.
Well, I don't know
does.
really why it was turned down, but it was turned down.
Yes, it was.
It was turned down, and it would have actually made as much sense or more sense than this one because it would have actually squared it up. It would have made a nice area of commercial where commercial will be someday. I'm sure it probably will be someday, but who knows when that time will come. It's a little farther out than the other one was. So. Anyway, again, but I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we table case DEV 20-140 1-40 for rezoning. Table it. Give Mr. Ledford some time since he said he would be willing to relook it and see if he can make it fit to where something that we could approve.
We have a motion on the floor to table.
Can we get a date specific on that, please, Commissioner?
Yeah, you would have to have a date.
Table it for, 3 months? Is that fair enough to get everything done?
I think that's probably substantially more time than is necessary. The next meeting is February 10th. Certainly, if Mr. Ledford needs more time than that, he can request that it be tabled again, but just instead of just tabling it indefinitely, so we don't have to
Maybe
renew.
2 months.
Yeah, March
meeting.
Well, Crystal's saying 1 month.
I think February 10th, tabling it to February 10th is appropriate.
Table
Just please
till
make that part of your
February 10th.
motion.
Okay, February 10th. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second it? Okay, we have a motion on the floor with a second. And who made the motion? Where's the Terry? And Mark seconded the motion. We have a motion on the floor with a second to table case number DEV 20-140 to the February 10th meeting. It's the rezone request for B3 and B5 zoning districts to B3 zoning districts. Is there any further discussion?
I feel about tabling it, we're not, it don't conform. And if you expand B3, it still don't conform. Therefore, I don't understand the reasoning for tabling it rather than denying it.
Well, I mean, if we use that logic right now, the current B3 doesn't conform, so we should do away with it.
But it's there and it's zoned,
Yeah.
and it's been there, so
And it's part of our comprehensive plan.
it's part of it, it's set right there. I don't believe the B3 should be expanded.
I agree with you at this point in time.
I think table is just making the man wait.
I think it's going to cost you more money.
Yeah, a lot more.
We'll find out. Any other discussion? Or have a vote? Roll call vote, and this is to table. John Matthews?
No.
And no Mike?
Because it really doesn't match our comprehensive plan today, and I won't do it tomorrow even after it's proven. It's still the same piece of ground.
Terry Bukowski?
Yes.
Table. Mark Denny?
Yes.
The table. Alex Demaro?
No.
No. And the reason?
I think we should give the man an answer tonight.
Okay. Wolf Smith?
No. I agree with John, we just don't want to expand, it doesn't meet our comprehensive plan.
Rocky Impel?
No,
Okay. Same reason?
same reason.
Okay. Tom Dials?
No, same reason.
Jeff Spink?
No, for the same reason.
and I'm going to vote no. And same reason, and the fact is, he could do that with a special use permit and not have to rezone it. So the table was denied.
The
Do we
table
need
was
another
denied,
motion?
so we'll need another motion, yes.
We need another motion.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I move the proposed rezoning as outlined in case DEV 2114 be denied, and the findings on the golden factors as set forth in staff report adopted by Planning Commission as substantiated by facts, testimony, evidence presented be adopted by the board. My reasoning for denial is the fact that it does not meet the current comprehensive plan.
Second.
Okay.
And that's what's stated in the report.
We have a motion on the floor with a second to deny case number DEV 20-140, rezoning request for B3 and R5 zoning districts to B3 zoning district. Is there any further discussion?
But this could still happen with a special use permit.
Sure. We've got, I don't know how many we got out there that are with a special use permit. I've been going it for a long, long time.
So Mr. Ledford could go that route.
He could go that route and not rezone it.
Got it?
Any other discussion? Roll call vote. John Matthews?
Yes.
It's yes to deny now.
Correct.
Terry Burkowski?
Yes.
Mark Denny?
No.
And
I just disagree with probably the rest of the board on this one. I don't see any reason why B3 is already there and cannot be expanded with the survey. And also, just, I don't know, my personal opinion is that we have the comprehensive plan. We should look at it. But if we're just going to every single time look at the comprehensive plan and say yes or no based on that, there's no reason for us to be here. I think there's always reasons that to look at each individual case individually and make a decision based on each individual case. So, but no.
I just can't stand carrying.
Alex tomorrow?
Oh, no, also.
Okay. Oh, no. And the reason?
I'm agreeing with Mr. Denny here. I think it's there, and I do agree that I think it's a good idea to basically follow that comprehensive plan, but there is exceptions.
Will Smith?
That's what we've done this entire time.
Yes to deny.
Rocky Hempel?
Yes to deny.
Tom Dials?
Yes.
Jeff Spink?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 7-2. The Board of County Commissioners will consider this item on February 3rd, 9 a.m. at the Leavenworth County Courthouse. And you need to be here for that. They could reverse our decision. Believe me, everybody. Any person wishing to file a protest petitions must contact the Planning and Zoning Office. Protest petitions must be filed with Leavenworth County within 2 weeks of this meeting. To be valid, the protest petitions must be signed by owners 20% of the land notification area. Anything else?
No, sir.
We're adjourned.